selloff.com. Welcome to today's recap. A look ahead, and it was definitely an interesting day. It's Thursday. Feels like it was a short week, but it doesn't feel like a short week. Feels like there was just a lot going on everywhere. Yesterday, lots of things kind of had some late stage breakouts, and then today, things felt a little odd off the open, and then boom, tech got hit very quick. Why did tech get hit fast? Because the leader of this high beta move, Tesla, which was up 4 by the time I got in here, I said, I'm like, it feels like it's going to go red. In the morning, all of a sudden, I went back to my desk, it was down 6, and then it didn't hold certain upper areas, so it let some of the euphoria out of high beta tech, and then you also had NVIDIA, which was last year's big winner, didn't hold a prior pivot, so tech got beat up. Then some of the indices intensified to the downside, but then some things regrouped, some things didn't, and it all depends what you're in and where you live and how you go about your business on what you're long or short moving forward. If you look at the chart of the S&P cash, doesn't really look like much, right? Let's just go flashback. Throwback Thursday, this is when the trend started way back here when President Trump got elected. Then here is your accelerated trend that pulled back to the 21-day in here and then broke out above 2,300 right there. And since then, hasn't been much of a hiccup since, right? Today, a little bit, right? Today, went below yesterday's low, which was 23.58, but what did it do? It held the Tuesday low of 23.54. So all in all, held where it had to. Kind of looks a little bit like this. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, except for that the S&P or the spiders held in better than other things. So with that being said, maybe there's rotation into other names that are weighted in the S&P that kept us afloat, but did feel a little weaker than the Dow being up 45, 50 points, which is where the headline shows. So we'll see what that amounts to. But as of now, this 3-day pivot held, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. If you look in Techland, the Qs for the first time, again, this is your first red candle in how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and it did look a little uglier than it did, but if you mapped it out, and you just say it opened green and you sold it when it went back below a prior high of 130.59, or you sold it when it went below 130.11, which was yesterday's low, maybe you said, hey, I had some good prices. I want to try it at the 8th day. It's been above the 8th day all the way since, the beginning of February. So if you sold its strength and salvaged it here or salvaged it there, you were able to buy it back here. And now we'll see if, what's next. Does it go sideways and then continue again, or how much time does it take? For me, I would say this could be a shot across the bow. Maybe it gets the range a little bit loose and wider for a little bit before it makes a new high again. But all in all, still looks fine, right? It all depends on where you want to live. Things could test a 21-day and still be deemed very strong. As a trader, though, do you hold your nose and go underwater from the 8th day to the 21-day? It's your prerogative. Okay, sometimes people say even the 50-day. So that just shows you how big of a move we've had since we broke above this major base way back to start 2017. So today was your first day that they opened it up a little bit. We'll see what happens next. So the energy sector, I tried to buy early morning. Wasn't much of a rotation there. You look at the chart of the XLE, still pretty darn ugly. Oil came out, the inventory seemed somewhat bullish to start, didn't do anything. Still above this prior low. I guess you could be in it. I tried to be in it. It made new lows. I got out, and I'll wait and see. I don't like playing laggard sectors unless they really show me something drastic, and there's nothing drastic here, except for it's below the 8 and 21 day. It's been below the 8 and 21 day pretty much for the entire year. So until that changes, get away from it, or at least don't buy it. What did the banks do today? The banks, FAS, oh wow, look at that. Came below the 2-day pivot, held the 8th day, and closed the highs of the day. So, maybe if you didn't come into work today and you were long the banks, you stayed long the banks. But if you came into work today and you said, hey, it's had a big move since breaking out above here, and it broke from green to red, maybe you got out, or maybe you got out when it went below the 2-day low. But then once it came all the way back, you're definitely a little flat-footed and like, what did I do here? So anyway, still looks pretty good. Can't Can't get too bearish on the banks when you get a close like that. Let's look at a few of the banks. Goldman Sachs, what did you do? Still hanging in there, still holding the 8-day, still hanging above the prior breakout. Not much to get too bearish on here, except for a little sideways action. Bank of America, what are you doing? What are you doing? It never really came back up. I feel better when I sell strength and then it doesn't bounce back, but I guess that's human nature. All in all, still above the 8-day, hanging in there pretty tough. We shall see. So really where I think some of us got hit fast was some of the trades from yesterday. And the reason why we sell and don't hold as much as we had overnight during a good trade like we had yesterday is because you don't want to give back the previous day because we want to net money moving forward. So today you did have a chance. One of my rules is, depending on what I'm long, and I was long like 5-6 positions, is I always sell a third pre-morning call express and pre-morning call full version. So before I came in here, I sold some Facebook up 30 cents, some Baba up 50 cents, some Netflix up 40 cents. So, I get rid of some. So this way I could sell some strength, figure out the composure of today, and then figure if I want to buy it back and I won't even get more than I had overnight because you have more control intraday. What happened was these things pulled in more than they should have to me. Not, I guess, to the world, but to me, I figure out, you have a friggin' breakout, you retrace a third and you hold the third and then you're still strong. You hold a half and it's not as strong, but it should be okay. But you give back more than that, maybe it could be a breakout failure and it could mean a trend change, which wound up not happening. So let's take a look at Facebook. Let me show you what I did. So Facebook, gave us a really good trade here, right? I got long on, Tuesday, added it on Wednesday. Yesterday I was feeling good. Today it opened up 20 cents. Sold a little bit, and then when basically it broke and went red, I sold a little bit. And then I'm like, what, let me see if it holds this one pivot, which is right here. What is this pivot? This is, 135.49, or this pivot, which is 135 or 134.94. So that was a spot to me that should hold. I didn't think it was going to come all the way back to the 8-day, etc. So that's how I navigated it. So you go to the 5-minute chart to be a little bit more granular, just to show you my thinking. Okay, basically, here is yesterday's high. I was hoping that it would open above it. It didn't. It opened here. So basically, I think this is what so I sold a little bit here, which was up a little, 136.50, and then it broke below the one portion of yesterday's range. This was yesterday's range. So this, to me, I'm like, I shouldn't really break 136 if it's going to be really strong. I actually put some orders into my swing account to buy some near 135.50, which was the prior pivot. So in my swing account, I put in buy orders to buy 135.70, 135.50, and then it came in here, and then things happened fast. I looked over, I'm like, ooh, I bought it in my swing account. Hopefully that's a good buy. I would think it's a good buy from here to there to this. Why not buy a pullback? Bounced off it, didn't really do anything with it. And then I said to myself, because now it's like 10 o'clock, here's your 30-minute pivot. This is 135.41. I probably shouldn't break this if it's going to be a clean, good breakout with momentum and strength. So I put my stops in. I said, this is, I sold some, sold a little bit more, bought some back, thinking, hey, maybe it's a good buyback. Bounced up, came in, broke this, and I got out of Facebook at 135.41. I was like, wow, that kind of sucked. Excuse my French or Polish or whatever, or English. That's what I speak, English. And then came down, retested. So when by the time I went to the gym right around here, I'm like, all right, could have been worse. And then, put a low in at a level that made, no big, 134.33, and then bounced back up. So that's how my trade management, had it overnight, bought more here. I think I even bought more there. I sold some, bought some back, sold some, bought some, and then, bounced back, and I sold it here saying, hey, I don't think that's not good. That's not cool, day trading wise. Life wise, long term wise, who knows? But day trading wise, to me, it is what it is. So then the other thing we focused on yesterday, which we made good money in, was Baba. Baba got long Tuesday, added above 102.50. To me, shouldn't get really below 103.50. It was up 50 cents. I had a nice amount overnight, sold some up 30 cents, some up 50 cents. Today, I'm going to sit in this. Maybe we get a day 3. You look at what happened with BABA. BABA didn't bounce at all. BABA got to here, wound up engulfing yesterday, which shouldn't happen. So we'll see what's next. But I'm not long BABA. You know, if you want to look at the 5-minute chart to show you my thinking, because I want to show you my thinking, because how you think is everything. Anyway, so yesterday, all right, here's where it cleared a nice level here. Okay, actually, and then cleared another level here. I remember selling some. And then into the close, I bought a little bit back. And then on the open, I sold a little bit into the prior support that turned into resistance. So just say, let's be hypothetical, guys. Just say I had 1,500 shares and I sold 500. Just say. Then all of a sudden came to here. It really should not have broken this 104. This was the prior pivot. It should not have broken there. So just say you had 1,500, you sold 500. Now you're at 1,000 here. Maybe you bought back thinking, hey, I just sold, 500 here. Let me buy back a little bit. And boom, you just got hurt. Okay, so here was this 103.50 level. So I actually didn't sell there. I bought more here. Then it bounced up. And then on this break, I got stopped out of BABA, 103.50. I'm like, that shouldn't have happened. And then BABA went from 103.50 all the way down to 102. So it could have been worse. Should really never have got below 104 or 103.50 if it was going to hold here and then go higher tomorrow or the day after. So now I'm flat BABA and the chart looks a little weird. Not weird, but doesn't look as strong. It's still above here. It's still in this channel, but it should have held a little higher if it was going to hold here and go up to here. So those are like momentum rules. I'm a momentum trader. Yes, I have a 401k, I have a 529, I have a 403b, I have long-term accounts. I don't care. We pull in 2%, 5%, 10%. I'm 44 years old. I'm going to keep doing it for the next 15, 20 years, just like my wife did between 2002 through the financial crisis and did real well into now. That's the long-term plan. And my son's 8, so I'm going to do it for the next 10 years until he's in college. But actively, this is how you maneuver to net money so you're not hurt and not in the way of the price movement. So, what was I going to get into next? I was going to get into Tesla. So, into earnings, I do not hold stock because you never know what's going to happen. Because Tesla had such a big move from 205 to 287, in my special report, I had it at 205 as a buy, had options. We talked about reducing at least to 50% of what you had into earnings just in case. I had no option position because I'm like, even though if I think it goes higher, what do I know? It's got 100 points in the bag in a month. It's more than even Tesla could probably hold. So let me figure it out. So I put out a chart on Twitter. You can look at it saying, I will look between 258 and 264. This is from memory. I don't have a teleprompter just to, try it there. So I anticipated, and I actually bought starting at 262 down to 258, and it did rally back to 264, and I made some money in that trade. Sold some and then held some, and then I got stopped out of the remainder because I figured, everyone's like, oh, you want to buy a dip, why are you scalping it, and got stopped out. And Tesla did not find any traction. So why did I have this as one price? Okay, this was 264. Yeah, 260, and this was the 21-day. It's been above the 21-day for quite some time. So broke that, closed on lows, no reason to buy it yet. Sorry. This was your buy price down here. Okay, this is when it cleared this descending trend line. This is when you didn't have to deal with earnings. You had Elon Musk on the transition team. This is when all was dandy, and just because this happened doesn't mean anything either. Okay, so this was your spot to try it. I tried it, traded out of it, lost a little bit, but didn't get stubborn. And now we'll see what happens here next. Does it get down to this 247? Does it get down to closer to the 50-day? That should move up every single day, and maybe that'll be a buy. For now, what do you know? All you know is today's low. What's today's low? Today's low is 255.56. We'll see. If it opens below that and reclaims it, hey, maybe that's a pivot. If it opens above it, trades below it, comes back above it, maybe that's a pivot. If it goes below it, stays below it, it's a nothing until maybe this zone. So if you want to see how I traded in the first 5 minutes, it was not easy to do. It was fast. It was furious. I don't recommend it for a lot of people. I bought it here. I bought it here. I bought it here. And then I sold a little bit, got up money, and then I said, I'm going to wait. Maybe it does get in the gap. And then all of a sudden, it wound up wedging. What's a wedge? A lower level wedge or a bear flag like this. Had it, then got stopped out. And then was done with it here, had a little bounce up, and then closed in the lows. And now we'll see what's next. But it's a huge hole in the chart. So with a huge hole in the chart, you have to be careful. You know, igniting bars to the downside sometimes dictate the next direction. We'll see what happens next. You know, Amazon, everyone's like, what dog? Amazon was different. I'm like, yeah, Amazon was different because Amazon gapped down. There was a little buy interest off the lows. It didn't close in the dead lows. And then you did get a red dog reversal, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. And then it traded above 818, got in the gap, filled it, so the gap no longer had any power. And then it made a new high. And now what did it do today? It held the 8th day. It held that high. You know, I was too involved in other things. Otherwise, I was thinking about buying back around 847-ish. It actually didn't get there. It went to 848. And now we'll see, with a little bit of time, go sideways, and maybe this becomes a better trade. But down here, sideways, filled the gap. We'll see what happens with Tesla. Does this gap control the stock for further downside, or does it open up tomorrow and try and get in and fill it to show that there's not a lot of power, that people like it on sale, and that's how you judge gaps? By the way, if you didn't know earnings were coming out and you said, hey, look at this red dog reversal right here, traded above the prior high of 281, made a 283, and you shorted it here and said, I don't care about earnings, I'm just looking at the price pattern, lower high, red dog reversal, closing on lows, and going out short, you got paid. But obviously, that's something different. Then there was another thing I had, okay? I had CLF. Everyone's like, CLF looks great. I'm like, I hate the sector. We'll see what happens. I went home long. It looked good. Opened up a little bit. Sold some. I always sell a little bit into strength. And then what do? I sell a little bit more when it goes red. And then if it breaks the level, I get out. This one, at least, I got out and I feel good about. Why do I feel good about it? Look at that friggin' crazy down move. Okay? Looked pretty good coming into here. So you get rid of this, you know, chart. Looks like a nice bull flag, right? Here was your big move after earnings. Gap down, kept it in stride. Looked as if it was going to break above this spot. So this would be a spot it shouldn't get back below. And then boom. So sold some strength, waited to see, started to get below. Actually, I sold it when it went red, around 11.75. I got out and went to 10.55. And now look at the size of this outside day candle engulfing this whole spot. I would be not involved in this. If anything, you'd be short, but that's up to you. You had some time, though. Why did you have time? Look at the 5-minute chart. Look at this. Gapped up, buy interest, right away negated by another 5-minute bar that shouldn't have happened. So right away, as soon as I saw that, as I was getting hurt in other positions, I said, let me be careful here. Went below this. 1187 sold some, and then I said it should not get below this, and otherwise I'm out, and I'm running for the hills, and I got out and didn't look at it again all day, and boom. So anyway, these are things that, you know, by being in at 6:30 in the morning and starting my day at 4:45 and writing a note that takes me an hour and a half to do, and doing a video and being so prepared has me ready for the action. You need to be ready, you need to have a plan, you need predetermined levels. Not predetermined thoughts, but predetermined levels of what could happen. If this happens, then that happens. If that happens, then this happens. So this way you can move fast. You have to also be okay with if you get stopped out of things and things feel weird, and then they come back, you can always revisit. But if they don't come back, the one time they don't come back, you know, and you stay there because like, oh, every other time I got out, they came back and then I'm flat-footed and then I'm not in what I had and they go higher. Okay, the one time it doesn't happen, you can get blown out of the water. So today I don't feel bad that I'm going home relatively flat equities. I still have some options on, but remember I talked about how I sold half into strength. Okay, INSEE, I sold half yesterday. A lot of guys are like, why are you selling half? I'm like, because you sell when you can, not when you have to. So you go to the daily chart on INSEE, excuse me, from day one up into this, I figured I'd sell some. So having a day like this doesn't really matter yet. Celgene, I'm done with. Celgene, you know, I like the chart. Basically broke above here, sold some, you know, into the strength here, sold a little bit more. Now I'm flat because I have options on Friday. GWPH, sold some strength also. Sold some strength, you know, we bought it in the hole. Broke above here, sold some strength. So now I'm in May options. So I'm in options that these are like swing trades. Not just a swing trade, a swing trade. Meaning, you know, I'm not going to get out of it because I have May options. I bought it nice, I sold some, and now I'm sitting in some. If I was in the stock, I would not be in it. So, that's what the difference between options and stocks. Stocks are more precise, options more conceptual. Same way, I'm in Twitter options, which I don't even know why, but I'm in for June. Had one good buy with the Twitter options down here, sold a portion of it, so now I bought a little bit more back. So we'll see what happens here next. Another reason why I was a little, hesitant on risk in tech, besides Tesla going red and getting beat up, was NVIDIA. NVIDIA was last year's go-to name. NVIDIA, came, gap down, did not hold this pivot, so you had one little spot to sell it fast if you were prepared. And I noticed that if it can't hold 104.79, run for the hills. If you're long it, I was not long it. Some of you guys were long it still because you had a red dog reversal here, and then you took a third and got paid, and then if you still had a trailer on, fine. But then now you're out, and now look at it, looking as if it's going lower. And that was last year's winner. If you look here too on the chart, if it wasn't in the video, you would have said, hey, this is acting really well. Failed at highs, reversed lower, downside follow through, came back up, couldn't retrace more than a third of this, and then turned lower. Now we'll see what's next. So there was some stuff. And then in Chinese internet land, the reason why I was so quick with Bob is because on decent results, Sina got sold and WB got sold. So, doesn't that say that some people are a little worried about other things? Look at this Sina. That, my friends, is huge. Said if Sina can't hold this spot, run for the hills. Because maybe it was priced in and they just didn't want it to go today and then it would go later. Well, not only did it not go today, it got crushed. So now this wide range crazy bar is put it in the penalty box for some time to come. What did WB do? WB. Also, closed on dead highs. This is what you call a gorilla trade. Open below this and then down. And this is why also you don't take stock into earnings. You just don't do it. This was your price movement up. Here, if you were bullish, you take friggin' calls. If it went to 100, you made money. If it went to 70, you made money. If you stayed in this because hey, it looks great. Weibo in China is expanding. I love it. Boom. You just gave back an entire 2 weeks. So again, binary events as traders, you do not take excessive risk. You take options. Why do you take options, Freddie? Because risk is premium paid and you never know what's going to happen. And you have to know where your stock came from and where it is now, what the expectations are, what whisper it has to beat to continue, and what wouldn't be enough. And you put all those things together, you stay safe, you stay profitable, and you keep moving forward. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's Friday. Fridays don't tend to be good to the red dog, so I'm very light. I'll see if there's any opportunity tomorrow. It's been a good week. I had a really good day yesterday. I gave back a third of it today, which kind of sucks. I shouldn't use that word. It wasn't fun. And but again, I netted money. Good day Tuesday, great day Wednesday, not a great day today, but didn't wipe out the week, just wiped out a little bit, and now I'll see what opportunity lies on Friday, then see if this current crazy momentum trend to the upside changes, or if today was just a little bit of a, shot across the bow, not even a shot across the bow, just a little bit of a shake the tree, and then we still continue to hold as we did some price discovery today, and we continue to move forward. And that's all. Tomorrow, no morning call. Very abbreviated note. It is Friday. It's beautiful out. Thirsty Thursday. Have some fun. I wish you the best. I will see you on Twitter, and I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.